Hopefulness 2.0, day 6. Decided to go to the grocery store tomorrow. Gave myself a little bit of thinking about it. I was like planning some stuff, and I was like, you know what? I think maybe tomorrow will be better because the way the bus systems work, and this is just totally like me trying to save as much money as possible. On the weekends, the buses don't run nearly as often. Not only that, they generally don't run like the larger buses either. And the larger, super big, long buses that have like the big foldy thing in the middle, those are the ones I want to get on when it comes to coming back from the grocery store, because then I don't have to tap. That's going to run for 25 minutes on 40% power. This is going to go for 30 minutes. So they have a 5-minute window after the fact, and it can be done, essentially. I don't have any more room left, that I can tell anyway, of my other, if you will, what is it? I'm actually going to hold off on this, now that I think about it. So, I was looking at some starter recipe, or not starter recipes so much, but I was looking at sourdough recipes. And by the way, it's like 5:30 in the afternoon at least. It's later than that. I'm gonna do it before I go to bed today. What the hell? It's not turning for some reason. This stupid thing is tray got knocked off just ever so slightly. Just sitting there doing nothing. Okay. Okay. Now it's spinning like it's supposed to. So that's gonna be my dinner for tonight. I already had breakfast, and I guess you could call it lunch. I just kind of snacked on this for a while, and I'm glad I bought it. It's good shit. Finished off my milk yesterday, though. So yeah, I was looking at recipes for sourdough. I was thinking today would be a good day, and I mean, it would be more optimal, I would say, but I'm trying to cover a lot of bases here. Tomorrow is laundry day as well. And you know, with regards to like EverQuest, for instance, we have nothing like really going on, so I don't really, you know, have any reason so much to play, and I can do some bread and clean some shit. So do that. But there's a way that they're talking about how like if you work with your starter and whatnot some hours beforehand, and so the best thing it seems to do, or the best thing to do seems to be the night before you're gonna make the sourdough bread. You want to feed your starter, let it, you know, come to room temperature and all that stuff. So it's already there and it hasn't been storing, and I've been regularly feeding it and everything. I don't have to worry too much about that. So what I can do then is tomorrow morning when I get up, I go to the store, get the stuff that I need, bring it back, and then I can start working on the process of making the sourdough. And I was talking to some guild mates. This is one of the reasons why I'm in a guild, is to talk to people about things. And I was like, I don't know if I can do the sourdough anymore because I don't have like a Dutch oven or a pizza stone or anything. And they're like, well, you don't really need to. You can do it in a loaf pan. And I was like, oh, okay. Actually, it was more like, just go get a stone on Amazon for like $20 or something. And I don't want to spend $20 for something I'm probably not going to be doing that often. And even if I were, I mean, I would have to have a job. to do something like that. There's certain purchases that I will be making, and certain purchases I will not be making. Like, yeah, I probably maybe shouldn't have spent money on a loaf pan and an 8x8. I don't know, but they're gonna serve me pretty well, doing what they do. And that's when I was like, well, you know, all I've got is a loaf pan, and I'm not really into, you know, budget right now for that kind of stuff, for any extra stuff at the moment. And they're like, well, you should be able to do it in a loaf pan. And I was like, oh, okay. And I started Googling, checking on that, checking to see what kind of options there were, and I found this recipe that I could do. And it's almost exactly the same recipe that Claire has for her sourdough that she did with the New York Times cooking channel. And I was like, well, I'll just use the ratios that Claire had for her bread, use the methods that she has, because her amounts were like 1,000 grams total of flour, and I'm like, that's a lot of fucking flour, and that's for 2 loaves, and I'm just like, I need to do 1 loaf first. Let's not go crazy yet. And so I'm like, okay, if I just split it, if I cut it in half, it's no big deal. I don't need to have all of the sourdough bread situation. I just need 1 loaf. If I make it and it's awesome, then of course, then I can try to figure out how to do 2 loaves. I could put, you know, one of them in the fridge, and you know, I've got containers and shit, so I don't have to worry about that. But I want to do it first before I start getting big ups, if you will. And like every damn one of them is either talking about bread flour or wheat flour, and I'm just like, I don't have either one of those. So I'm gonna head up to the store, and I think they have, I'm pretty sure they have like some small wheat flour bags that are like similar to the size of all-purpose that I bought last time. The first time I bought it was like kind of small, whatnot. Whereas the one that I had last time was like your typical everyday size that, you know, your typical household is probably going to have on a regular basis. And since I've got this stuff that's in the fridge doing its thing, they're the same website that I saw the recipe for the starter had ideas for what you can do for tossed out starter. I was like, okay, try to, and that was the reason why I was going to start storing it in the first place. Because, you know, I didn't want to just be tossing it out and then have, you know, I mean, that, like, one bag is like $5, and the last thing I want to do is toss out half a bag's worth for no fucking reason other than just making some starter. So that's the situation there. And then, you know, there's like a little starter thing where you have to like incorporate your starter and then some extra flour and whatnot. So basically kind of making a mini starter so that you can then continue making the bread and everything. And so I've watched a couple recipes. I'm going to watch some more, of course, tomorrow. I was going to go today. I got up, and then my guild on our Discord was like, hey, there's an earthquake today. One happened yesterday. So like yesterday was what we know as Pop Day, which I mentioned yesterday's video. And I was like, okay, we're gonna get ready and all this stuff, right? But on Pop Day, it's different than an earthquake day. Because on Pop Day, it's a week later, and there's all these like various time windows, as we call them, where certain specific raid targets might respawn. So like a lot of them are 7 days, but then they have a variance of like 8 hours in both directions. So sometimes it's like, okay, we know when it pops, so it's gonna start 8 hours beforehand, and it could pop immediately 8 hours beforehand. Or it could pop anywhere between that point and all the way to the very fucking end of the extra 8 hours. So it could be 7 days minus 8 hours. It could be 7 days plus 8 hours, or anytime in between. So we're in the middle of this day, trying to get to certain targets and stuff. It was yesterday. I was talking about in the video. And, you know, I was like, all right, because I was about to get on and start to get ready for that stuff and whatnot. and some targets had already, like popped and died. And then we're in the middle of waiting, and a fucking earthquake happens. And so the earthquake is when everything goes bleep. Hello, we're all here at the same fucking time. And then so it's this frantic, fucking absurd, like, and like literally these screen shakes, like they make it look like an earthquake. It's ridiculous. Because then everybody's like, where are we going? What are we doing? And then you have to listen to your raid leadership and you got to figure out where they want to go. And it's just. And yesterday was not fun for us because almost every one of our targets that we were after for a while, we just couldn't get. Either we got unlucky or something else happened that then made it to where an opposing guild could just kind of swoop in and take over, and it was frustrating to say the very least. But it was like I was saying yesterday as well. There's like a lot of hurry up and wait, and so yesterday there was a lot of hurry up and wait, and we also didn't get a lot either, which kind of sucked. Today, it happened like probably right around the time I woke up, but I didn't have my computer or anything plugged in at the time. And on my phone, for some reason, I don't get the notifications via Discord. I've been trying to fix that, and it doesn't seem to want to work. I might just uninstall it and reinstall it. But yeah, it was a thing. And then today, I get on, and like they're almost done after like 2 hours. Yesterday, it took us like 4 or 5 hours to get stuff done. And I mean, they got some like surprisingly good targets that normally we don't get, or that we only get like every now and then. And when I got on, like, it was like, all right, we're pretty much done. We're done killing dragons. We're gonna do with this thing called a ring war, which is you go to this one place and a specific one person who has been following through this really, sort of arduous quest. The final part is you turn in and like the entire zone where we're all at, everything goes away. All the enemies and everything disappear, right? Other than like a couple of specific quest-related NPCs, everything else disappears. And then shortly thereafter, the event happens, and all these giants pop up. There's some spearmen over here on the west side, there's some on the east side, and then, and this is where like the whole coordination and why this is a big raid and why it's kind of an important thing happened. And like there's all sorts of other like strategic and tactical stuff that, that's gonna go on that I'm not gonna talk about, but basically all these giants are gonna come attack this dwarven city. And it's your job as PCs, as players, to make sure that doesn't happen. And so there's all these strategies that, people have kind of finagled and fine-tuned and whatnot. And it's both kind of annoying and kind of fun at the same time. Like, it's very strange for me to do that one, because it takes like an hour and a half, and it's almost constant. And so that's kind of the good part about it, and that it's relatively constant. It's just kind of this like high octane kind of situation. But at the same time, there's a lot of people who don't seem to want to pay attention, aren't paying attention, can't pay attention, or straight up ignoring specific advice. And so, because there's certain mechanics that are in that I'm not really going to go into, but one basic thing that tends to kind of annoy people is, so every couple of minutes, I want to say like every 5 minutes if I'm not mistaken, there is a wave of giants that spawn and start walking towards the city that they consider the enemy, and you're there to protect them, of course. And so you have to kill off the giants. Well, there's a strategy involved where if you split up the amount of giants that are there, the offensive team can take out a good chunk of it, and then the defensive team can there's like a line of dwarves that also pop up, and they can help the dwarves out, so that It's like the dwarves will do a lot of the work, but they can still be there to help ensure that none of the dwarves die or anything of that nature, and that the giants don't pass through. But one of the things is that if, let's say there's a warrior and he's attacking one of these big ass giants, and then some wizard comes over here and just nukes him from a distance, if he launches a spell at him and does enough damage to basically make that giant angry enough. Oh shit, I thought I knocked that over my starter. That would have sucked. If it pisses off the giant enough, aka aggroes the giant, to where it's more pissed off at the wizard, he'll ignore both of them and just walk straight to the fucking city like he's supposed to. And that can cause problems, and you can lose. And if you lose this event, the person, I don't know exactly what happens, but I don't think the person loses the original item they turn in. It could. If they do, that would suck. But it's like a mini game within the game, essentially. But there's a lot of stakes at it, especially because at the end of if you win, which we did win this today, not only do you get more dragon kill points, because that's just the sort of currency that the guild has, but there's also extra gear that comes from the rewards of the raid. And so you go down a line of different NPCs, and you hand over the head of like the boss that you just killed. And they're like, oh, okie dokie, here you go. Here's an item. Here's his head back. You should go tell what's his face about it too. He'll give you something nice too. And then what we do is that like the one person who was doing the quest, they get a really awesome ring out of it. You start off with a decent, okay-ish ring, and it becomes pretty awesome. And then other people, we as the guild, as per essentially an agreement to, and effectively rewards for helping this person accomplish this really, really hard war, as because it's called Ring War. They get the opportunity to be able to get some of those goodies. And there's like a really nice face mask, there's a really cool helmet, there's a nice neck item, there's an item, I mean, it goes in your range slot, but it's an eye. It has really cool stats on it and stuff. So yeah, and there's a giant lance that you can get. There's all sorts of cool shit that comes from it. So everybody has a chance of getting some goodies out of the situation. And the earring is really helpful, especially because it gives you the ability to be invulnerable to damage for like, I want to say like 30 seconds, maybe 20, something like that. And they use that earring a lot for various raids and stuff, and so that's kind of a prized possession to have for other raids that go on at other times. So yeah, so that's what we did today. Now, the reason I brought the whole damn thing up in the first place is like, having done it, I was like, okay, I'll go ahead and do this thing, no big deal. And then I'll start getting ready, because then I was like, it's kind of midday, it's probably gonna be busy at the store. And then I was like, yeah, I can do this. It's like an hour and a half. It's no big deal. And then I was getting ready and everything. And I haven't even done the video yet. And I was like, fuck, I haven't done the video today. I haven't done anything. And then I was thinking, I was like, okay, I'll go up there, blah, blah, blah. I got to figure out how much stuff I'm going to carry with me. And then I was thinking about the come back, because I'm going to have to get charged to come back on the bus. And I was like, wait, today's Sunday. And then that's where I got the idea about the whole, like, the bus system, and I was like, look, I'm gonna try tomorrow. I'm gonna try to save $1.75 by waiting a day. And then that's why I was like, all right, well, I don't really have any other food, but I've got this, chicken pot pie, so why not just cook that thing up? It's delicious. I'm pretty much done with the big container of sour cream. So I don't have to worry about that anymore. I'm gonna make some bread tomorrow, one way or another. Even if it's just the banana, because I'm gonna do it even with these bananas, because I mean, like, they're taking a while, but they're probably gonna be okay. Because they smell all over the place. They have fruit flies flying around too, which is not helpful. So that's gonna be taken care of tomorrow. Might even cook up some rice. I don't know, we'll see. Because if I get some rice tomorrow, and I have it pre-cooked. Ooh, I could also throw in a little bit of the rice vinegar into the water to help kind of season the rice a bit. I mean, I don't know. I'll have to think about that one. I don't know, we'll see. Yeah, I'm gonna get a big ass thing of chicken thighs again, and then I'm gonna do the thing that I was talking about, whereas I'm gonna cook some. I'm gonna do 4 in here, see how well that turns out. And if it turns out well enough, I just do 4 right after that. Who knows? I think I put it back in the fridge. Just a second. I did. Okay. I had a container with some extra chickeny stuffs in there, and so I was like, I don't want to get rid of it. Just put it back in the fridge. So yeah, there's that. I got excited. Just talking about my day, I guess. Almost like somebody is listening to me and cares. And here's like the last bite of one of my pickles. Not bad, but not great. It's a little too sour. I didn't need to put in the vinegar, I think, as the situation was. So I might just throw in a little bit extra water. Speaking of, I was so preoccupied today, I forgot to put more water in here. And I'm gonna need it when I'm eating soon. So yeah, there's that too. I have to do that again in a little bit, but it's whatever. It takes a while for the water to filter, which is kind of annoying. But it's whatever. I guess one thing I could do also is, I haven't actually cleaned it out yet. I was feeling kind of lazy the last couple days. I read that theory about save your spoons. It's just like the spoon theory, and then the fork theory, and then the knife theory. Like the spoon theory is essentially your energy of the day. And, spoons allow you to do X, Y, and Z. And it was, it was talking about, the invisible disabilities, mental health and stuff like that. And it was going into this detail. Oh, I'll turn the light on in this room because it's starting to get dark. It was going into detail about this theory that they had. And how, you get various size spoons, and sometimes you don't even have you don't have enough spoons, and once you're done, you're out of spoons for the day. So you're effectively out of energy, you're out of the ability to do that day. And that can cause problems. And so someone was like, if you have to, half-ass stuff. If you're doing dishes, you can sit down in a chair, blah, blah, blah. There's so many things that you do. And, so don't feel like you have to do it the right way every time. That's the nature of making habits, is that sometimes making a habit you do in a way that just works for you. And it may not be the right or perfect way, but it works for you, so it is the right way. And sometimes that means procrastinating. It means putting off stuff. It means not doing for a day because you just gotta save some energy or whatever it is. And nobody should feel guilty or bad for doing it. And I don't have a whole lot of dishes because I didn't do a whole lot when it came to cooking and cleaning yesterday. And yeah, sure, I still haven't cleaned the damn stove off, and I should. I need to. That'll come. The day will come. The same thing comes with, mopping the floor and stuff. When I get a car this month for a couple of days, I will probably end up getting some stuff so that I can do that. But starting to bubble up and go over to the sides. Oh well. I'm just gonna let it finish. Just a minute and a half left on this thing. So yeah, it's just And one might say, well, you could have started cooking, you could have started making some bread today. I wasn't going to do it today at all anyway. I was just going to go to the store. That was literally the only thing I was going to do today. And I'm not going to do it today. I'm going to do it tomorrow. That's it, you know. And if I feel like being productive, if I feel, you know, if when I start doing, you know, making bread and stuff tomorrow, then okay, cool. Some days you just got to take more of a break than you thought. And that's okay. It's okay to take a break. In fact, it's okay to take regular breaks. These out. Doesn't look like it's clean enough. I thought I rinsed this out yesterday, but I guess I didn't. Oh well. Now it is rinsed. It's ready to be tossed. I'm gonna do that tomorrow too. Ideally, we'll see. But yeah, I mean, you know, it's not ideal that, you know, I didn't do what I was gonna do and I played a video game instead, but at the same time, there's a lot of not ideal when it comes to my life. But also, you know, it gave me the opportunity to think about what I'm gonna do with regards to these things that I'm excited to do anyway. You know, it gave me an extra day to think and prepare and you know, really plan ahead instead of not planning. I mean, wanting to do it, you could say is a plan, but making a plan is probably more of a plan. Yeah. I can't think of anything else, so have fun.